So what you need to know for this book is that 99% of the people who walk through the bookstore and see this book are not going to notice this so much as they notice this. In fact, you should even know the fact that this book does not have a subtitle is this kind of ballsy out there thing. This is how big of a deal Michael Pollan now is. And he's quite old now. But he started when he was younger, writing these books, one after the other, just these really humane human looks into things that people feel like they already understand. Architecture, various other things that I'm thinking of but can't name right now. He wrote a book called The Botany of Desire, A Plant's Eye View of the World, which I think it's right over there, somewhere really close to it, in my bookshelf over there. Um, uh, and then he hit it really big with a book called The Omnivore's Dilemma, which kind of changed the way that people in general thought about food. Huge book, super important. This book is about just what, three, four? I think four different plants and how they change your mind, right? How they are essentially plants that are drugs. And now some of them, opium, super dangerous, super potentially useful for medicine, but also super potentially addictive drug. Mescaline, I know nothing about mescaline. Some other one. And then also caffeine. Nope, it's just the three. It's just the three, actually. And then caffeine, of course, from coffee, of course, from tea, of course, from chocolate. Everything that he says about caffeine is more or less true of theobromine too, but he talks about the human history of it. So it's this big chapter in the middle. Frankly, it's longer than I wish the chapter was for your sake for this. My recommendation would be to actually maybe start at the table of contents at the end, and let's see, does he actually have an entry here on chocolate? Oh, but then it just says chocolate. 97, the note, and page 103. So you might want to go to page 103 and kind of take a look at this. Or if you're using the Kindle one, do whatever Kindle allows you to do or what have you. But then, again, kind of just scan through here, see if there's anything particularly interesting in this. Because my goodness, there are. One of the fun things for this is that he feels like everybody, not everybody, but so many people use caffeine all the time. They're not used to it. So he wants to get into the sense of what would it have been like to take caffeine, to have your very first cup of coffee if you had never had caffeine before, if you were like some Englishman in the 1600s in a coffee house. So what he does is I think he goes for 6 months without having any coffee, any caffeine at all. And then has some again for the first time. So he lets his body reset with this. And then he has this, well, I won't spoil it, a really interesting experiment in here. He's always doing this, kind of doing like these feats, these weird sort of personal adventures to get to the bottom of what he's talking about. Recommended. I think you'll enjoy it. Enjoy the history that is part of this. Enjoy just the human detail that is part of this. And all the while be thinking, should people be consuming caffeine? Should you be consuming caffeine? I've had 2 cups of coffee today. I consume caffeine. You don't need to, and maybe you shouldn't, or maybe you should. Enjoy. Bon appetit.